This is everything you need to know about John Steinbeck's classic of Mice and Men. Today, I'll walk you through the story, the characters, and the deeper meaning behind this powerful novella. By the end, you'll feel like you've read the whole book yourself. Storyline Summary. Narrative Mode. John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men is set in California during the Great Depression, a time when jobs were scarce and millions of people were struggling to survive. The story follows two unlikely companions, George Milton and Lenny Small. George is small, sharp, and quick-witted. Lenny, on the other hand, is a physically strong but mentally disabled man who depends on George to guide and protect him. Despite their differences, the two men share a dream. One day, they will own a little piece of land, farm it themselves, and live free from the hardships of working for other people. Their dream keeps them going, but reality is often cruel. The story begins with George and Lenny traveling to a ranch where they've found new work. Along the way, we learn about Lenny's love for soft things, like mice, puppies, or velvet. But because he doesn't understand his own strength, he often kills the very things he loves. This becomes one of the central tragedies of the story. At the ranch, George and Lenny meet several important characters. Candy, an old ranch worker with one hand. Curly, the boss's aggressive son who is always looking for a fight. Curly's wife, a lonely woman who dreams of a better life. Slim, a respected and wise mule driver. Crooks, the black stable hand, isolated because of racism. Each character represents loneliness, broken dreams, and the harsh reality of the American dream during the Great Depression. George and Lenny's arrival quickly creates tension. Curly dislikes Lenny because of his size and tries to provoke him. Meanwhile, Curly's wife often hangs around the men, searching for attention and connection, since she feels trapped in her marriage. One evening, Lenny accidentally kills a puppy while playing with it. Moments later, Curly's wife finds him. She confides her loneliness to Lenny, telling him she once dreamed of becoming a Hollywood actress. When she allows him to stroke her soft hair, Lenny accidentally holds on too tightly. Panicked, she screams. In his confusion, Lenny shakes her to silence her, and tragically, he breaks her neck. This accident seals Lenny's fate. When the ranch workers discover what happened, Curly leads a mob to hunt Lenny down. But George finds him first, at the very spot they had agreed upon if anything went wrong. Sitting by the riverbank, George comforts Lenny by describing their shared dream one last time, how they'll have their own farm with rabbits for Lenny to tend. As Lenny listens, happy and calm, George makes the heartbreaking decision to shoot Lenny in the back of the head, saving him from the cruelty of the mob. The story closes with Slim consoling George, while the others remain unable to understand the depth of his pain. This simple but devastating ending captures Steinbeck's message. Dreams often remain out of reach, and friendship sometimes carries impossible sacrifices. Themes and morals. Exam use. The American Dream. George and Lenny S. Hope for land represents the larger dream of independence and stability. But Steinbeck shows how, during the Great Depression, such dreams were almost impossible for working-class people. Loneliness and isolation. Every character battles loneliness. Candy fears being useless. Curly's wife longs for companionship. Crooks suffers from racial exclusion. And even George admits life without Lenny would be easier, but unbearably lonely. Friendship sacrifice. The bond between George and Lenny is rare in the harsh world of migrant workers. George's final act of mercy shows the painful choices love sometimes demands. Strength versus weakness. Lenny's physical strength contrasts with his mental weakness. Similarly, society exploits the weak, whether it's old Candy, disabled crooks, or isolated Curly's wife. Main characters, explained simply. George Milton, smart, caring but burdened by responsibility, represents loyalty and sacrifice. Lenny Small, gentle, childlike but dangerously strong, symbol of innocence destroyed by a cruel world. Candy, old ranch hand, fears being discarded. His old dog parallels his own fate. Curly, aggressive and insecure, represents toxic masculinity and abusive power. Curly's wife, lonely and nameless, symbolizing how women's dreams were often ignored. Crooks, black stable hand, bitter from isolation, represents racism and exclusion. Slim, respected, wise, the moral compass of the ranch. Quick recap and outro. So, to recap, Of Mice and Men is not just the story of two friends chasing a dream. It's about the loneliness, broken hopes, and sacrifices people had to face during the Great Depression. George and Lenny's story teaches us about loyalty, but also about the harsh reality that not all dreams come true. If this helped you understand the novella, make sure to subscribe for more literature summaries. And remember, sometimes reading a story isn't just about exams. It's about seeing life in a new way.